eerie as all hell.
Yep. A Tarufel body, looks to be middle-aged or so for that race's standards.
On finding the body, I just go, well, blah.
It's your.
Who wants to assist me checking the wombs in this place?
I'm checking the body.
All right. Before we get to the rooms, let's go over the body. As you look it over, you notice that there are stains around the mouth. Looks like this poor person was vomiting a great deal before the end.
I'm not going to touch the skin.
Yeah. There are sores and rashes all over his body. They're very gross. It looks like a lot of the skin was just peeling off around his ankles and wrists as if they had been horrifically sunburned.
What kind of illness is this?
There's also some foam around his mouth. And, yeah. This is a very, very dead person.
I call back to them. Guys, if you see anything living, don't touch it. Or dead, for that matter.
Let's just say... Best not, for I'm afraid whatever he had may be uncurable.
Perhaps this is the reason for the quarantine. Plague, perhaps?
Clearly. Let's clear this place, make sure we're alone, sit down at a table and figure out a plan of action.
I'll just draw a little X here for the body.
Alright. I'm gonna head over
just in case, before we settle down, shouldn't we check the other rooms?
That's
just
what I
in
just
case.
said. That's what Nee just said. Clear the place.
Alright.
Alright.
Well, which room you opening up?
First room on right, so do this one.
Alright, give me a second to draw in the wall of it. General. Looks to be kind of a ramshackle, and the rooms aren't very symmetrical. Anyways, you try the door, and it is locked.
Alright.
I'm gonna try to open the end one on the left.
Alright. Again, locked.
I'm gonna check the first left door.
Alright, give me just a moment. To your surprise, that one is in fact not locked, and it swings open. Inside reveals a relatively standard, looking room. You know, the bed in the corner has been overturned and everything's kind of haphazardly strewn about and tossed all over the place. It looks like someone had a fucking temper tantrum in here. And sitting huddled in one corner, you see a person. He's huddled in the corner, staring at the corner. He's represented by that green circle there. He's kind of mumbling hysterically to himself. I don't want to be here. I want to get out of here. I want to get out.
Being cautious, I motion to the others to come here and be quiet.
Alright, if you're obeying that, roll stealth checks.
Before
everyone.
that, I was gonna open.
Yeah, that's
Stealth checks.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, yeah. Alcier, your door's locked.
So 1d6
Oh, never mind.
plus
Doing one.
3, or 2d6 plus 3. Alright. Dash, roll, 2d6 plus 3.
Is that a medical check or something?
11, 5 for a rocket. Damn it.
Alright. Alcier, have you rolled stealth? Is that what that 10 there is?
Oh, that was from the other door.
Alright, well, roll stealth then.
First door I tried to open.
Stealth. Damn it. What's my stealth? 2. Okay. 2.
Alright. And Alcier. Thanatos rolled an 11, by the way, for the viewers.
Yep. I just found my stealth as a 2, so give me a sec.
No, this is gonna matter because Rocket came bumbling in.
That is true.
You forgot to put...
Unless they only see Rocket because the rest of us are actually out of sight. And then Rocket just goes, people? I want to go see people.
Darkness is...
Who is it?
I know.
You forgot the slash.
So
He's done it for you now.
Alright.
It's 10. So I
Alright.
think we all succeeded but Rocket.
Yeah, so the rest of you are moving kind of slowly and carefully. Thanatos' armor kind of clinks a bit, but he's moving slowly and carefully as you're all sort of making your way over, looking at this person. And then comes Rocket. What you looking at? The person in the corner suddenly jerks up, goes to looks over his shoulder, and you see that there's more of that froth around his mouth, and there's sores peppering all over his face. Looks to be a Mithra. He's kind of looking back at you all.
So does he?
Way.
No, all of us are there. Is it just Rocket?
Well, you heard Rocket, but you're all kind of huddled in the doorway, so he sees you all pretty much, or at least those of you who are in the doorway, which would mostly be me at this point. So
I just give Rocket a small deadpan glare, then look back at me.
yeah. So the person slowly starts to stand up, his entire body shaking. You see as he stands up and reveals more of himself, that his clothes are kind of tattered, and there's more of that flaking around his wrists and ankles. His eyes are wide open and twitchy and kind of milky looking. He looks at you and was like, "Who are you? Who are you?"
I have a hand ready to go on the crossbow, but I say calmly, "We're friends. We don't mean you any harm. Just stay there."
Friends, friends in armor, huh? With crossbows and scythes and sticks, huh?
We only just arrived in this city. We do not even know what's happening here. What is this plague?
Go ahead and roll a negotiation check.
That's a 0, so it's a 2d6 then. 8.
He doesn't seem convinced. He kind of starts cackling to himself a little bit, his hands flying up to the side of his head as though he's wanting to scratch off a bunch of insects that are crawling over him. "Oh, yeah, sure. It's plague. You don't know. Of course you don't know. They all say that. Oh, get the hell away from me!" He goes from being kind of manically happy, delirious, to aggressive in a second. He looks almost like he's about ready to lurch at you.
Should I do a negotiation?
please don't do anything rash. We have medicines. We could help you. We need you to calm down, okay?
Roll negotiation
Please.
check, Alcier.
Got it. Two normal d6s, I guess.
Yep.
Let's make sure.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have a bonus to your negotiation skill. Hey, finally got it right.
Out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I don't think I have one.
No,
But
no
let's
answer.
Well, here's what happened. So you say that, Alcier, and the man kind of shakes his head wildly, like, No, you're lying! They all say they're just trying to help. And then what did they do? They started shooting us and burning us! No, you're lying. And then he charges you.
I pull my crossbow and fire a shot at his head.
Alright, make an attack roll. And also, yes, we just entered into combat, everyone. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let me have a look. Can't do ambush, I wasn't a preemptive strike. So just 2d6 plus 8.
Alright, 2d6 plus 8 to hit for uni.
Yeah, for a knee.
Alright.
$17.
Ooh.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, that hits. So give me a second here. Jesus Christ. Plus 8? That doesn't
Yeah,
sound right.
we worked it out yesterday, remember?
It's your accuracy score, isn't it? Your accuracy is plus 8? Huh. Alright, yeah, that's
Dex.
yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
your accuracy. Okay, yeah. I'll need to double check that in a little bit, but sure, we'll go with that.
We worked it all out on your bloody calculator.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All right. This word you might have written it down wrong or something. I don't know. That seems a bit high for first level, but anyway. So yeah.
Well, I built the entire character around this bloody crossbow because it's all I have.
I don't know. You fire the shot, and normally the system operates on a roll and keep system where like your accuracy roll would also be your damage. I don't like doing that though, so go ahead and roll damage.
Damage. So what's that?
It would be for you. It would be the damage listed by your weapon.
Oh shit! No, that was what I was rolling originally. I thought that was it.
Reroll that attack then. I thought that was way too
Alright.
fucking high. Your ACC.
It's a different character sheet to what I'm used to. Shut up.
Yeah, I understand.
ACC. That's 2.
Okay. Reroll that then.
Mine might need an update.
10.
That still hits.
Okay. So then it's 2d6 plus 8.
Yes.
$15.
All right. 15. Well, looks like I need to pull the calculator because the numbers are big. All right. So, yeah, fire off your first shot. It hits him in the shoulder. He stumbles back. Ah! That he keeps charging forwards. All right. Now, there is something that kind of is interesting in this thing here, and that is that there are, when it comes to it, there are 2 initiatives. And pretty much it's just, you just go in turn. So the party goes all at once, the enemy goes all at once.
Oh.
And you decide amongst yourselves your actions. So Nee's already taken her action, her for like her attack, but she can still move. What do the rest of you wish to do?
Alright.
Talk amongst yourselves, figure out what you're doing.
Well, since I did a shot and I'm in front, I'm going to duck back past the doorway and take cover.
I'll take.
Training's kicking in.
I'll take the next attack.
Alright, so that means you'd want to charge and get into a short range, which means right next to the enemy's sort of a thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Remember to move your tokens. I've already moved mine.
All right, I step in and ready my scythe and roll for accuracy. 11.
11, that'll hit. Roll damage.
According to my holy staff,
15.
it's a 10 plus. 2d6s.
This is such epic battle music for fighting a random plague victim.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yes.
I'll probably grab... It's set to random, Hush. Anyways, so you come in with your scythe, you kind of, as Neve fires her shot and then ducks out the door, you come charging in. You see this guy reeling from the arrow, the crossbow bolt embedded in his shoulder. He's screaming in pain. There's a bit of blood dribbling down his chest now. You come rushing in, you give your scythe a little twirl, and you slice him across the other shoulder. Some blood sprays against the wall. He lets out a scream of pain. Ah! Takes a step back. All right. Rocket, Alcier, what are you doing?
Well, I'm probably going to get in there to help him.
Help
No,
Thanatos
so much-
or help the infected guy?
Hmm.
Yeah, just help heal the opponent. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no.
And I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't get hurt.
So are you like doing a teamwork attack?
I guess so.
Well,
if
kind
you want
of.
to do that.
I mean, teamwork attacks have specific rules in this game. The way a teamwork attack basically is if 2 characters want to coordinate their attack for greater effectiveness and like the chance to interrupt a casting spell, then they can both roll their attack simultaneously, and as long as one or more of the dice they rolled match up with the other person, it's like if you both rolled at least 1 3, then the coordinated attack is considered a success. And this can be done like across the whole party. Everyone can try to coordinate their attacks, but the more people there are, the less likely it is to succeed because everyone has to get that matchup. So,
Ah.
But the advantages are like increased damage and knockbacks and the interruption of casting spells and slow actions.
Guess it might be too early to use the holy scythe. Holy staff.
What? Darkness, could you say again? I
Well,
didn't
all
catch
I
that.
got. Sorry. What I got is like a holy staff that does a. Well,
I mean, are you going to whack him with your stick or not? Or is Rocket going to kick him?
I could give him a whack. I just hope it's hard enough.
Oh, it definitely is. It's made for combat. You're a paladin.
Okay,
You're a
then.
fighter.
Yep. I might as well whack him with me mighty stick.
All right, so you kind of come charging in alongside Thanatos with his scythe. Make your attack roll. 2d6 plus your accuracy attribute.
Okay.
And Rocket's making an attack. That hits. Roll damage. Okay.
What is it?
Well,
Oh.
I'm starting to see a theme with our chocobo here.
I mean, what was your damage bonus? It's not like you forgot to add the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's your power, I believe.
My keyboard does this. I need to use the second 8.
And we're taking that 2 as the baseline. So just what would be your power on top at +8? Okay. All right. Well, so in that case, it would be 10 damage, not 2. So that's.
I take it crits don't count in the damage phase.
No, they don't. It's just minimum damage. Either way, so it's still
Lucky.
so it's still relatively impressive damage. So Rocket kind of comes charging in, does a quick kick, hits the guy in the knee. His knee sort of bends backwards with a. Like, he's not even focusing on fighting you guys anymore. He's kind of looking down at his bent backwards knee and just screaming.
Are we the baddies?
I mean, you were defending yourselves, so.
I know, well, Jesus Christ.
And Alciar,
thing
do you still wish to make your attack, or are you going to take a different action?
His leg's broken right, he's on the floor.
Well, I'd probably be the one that's just keeping an eye out and making sure no one gets hurt.
All right,
So I can, like.
So you're holding your action then?
Yeah. Just in case if someone gets hurt, I have to try to help them out and heal them.
All right, well, in that case,
I,
it's
I,
the enemy turn.
and I say to the others and maybe to the man, he's disabled. This fight's over unless he tries to bite your knees. Stand down.
Go ahead and roll a negotiation check, and and actually, no, hold on. Are you like trying to intimidate him with that?
Trying to warn him, get him to not waste his bloody life.
All right, well, in that case, go ahead and make a force or finesse check, whichever you think would be more appropriate. You know, finesse being mental stuff, force being stuff.
They're the same. A 3 doesn't really matter.
All right.
$12.
All right. He did not succeed in opposing you, so he's kind of sitting there, shaking horribly, covering his face with his hands, bleeding horribly from his 2 shoulders, barely able to lift his arms, rather. And even though, you know, he just tried to murder you a second ago, you guys proved quite thoroughly that would not fly. Now he's just kind of sitting there on the ground, weeping hysterically, screaming to himself. Doesn't even really seem to be acknowledging that you guys are even there anymore.
Alright, so that's fight over, I guess.
Yep, that is fight over. The guy had
Now the
2
question
hit.
is what-
Yeah, the guy had 2 hit points left.
Yeah, another question is, what do we do with this dude?
My goodness.
We still need information.
Well, even though he has been, well, temporarily disabled, you could say, I think it's not best to go up to him just yet.
Well, yeah, the guy's covering us. Can I just use my rudimentary medical training? Just from my time in the Rangers, just to kind of assess his situation if he's actually has any chance of pulling through medical attention.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
So that'll
It
be
looks-
2d6 plus healing, so 2d6 plus 2. $11.
Looking at it, you'd think that with a competent white mage, he'd probably make it, but alas, right now, and that's just for the physical injuries. You can't say for sure about the infection, though, or his seeming insanity.
So we obviously don't have a white mage. He's in a lot of pain. He's just dying on the floor. There's no hope for him, essentially.
More or less. I mean, you've got a paladin, which is kind of like a hybrid between a white mage and a warrior, so...
I was going to give it a try.
Alright. What you gonna do?
Alistair, you might as well see if you can help him. If not, it's going to be a mercy killing's best we could do for him.
Yep. Would it be the healing skill?
While he's doing this, I'm going to keep my crossbow trained on him, though, covering him just in case he decides to be an idiot.
And you could use the healing skill to try and stop the bleeding, but it wouldn't necessarily do much for his broken leg. Alternatively, you could cast Cure at the cost of some MP. Whichever
That's
you feel is
true.
more appropriate for the circumstances.
I was thinking about that, but he might not have a chance to pull through, so maybe try the heal the best I can just to see if we get any information as best we can.
You're gonna cast Cure?
Or save the cure for later.
I'd save your.
How do you restore MP? Can you do it by, like, resting?
Yeah, resting or using ethers.
I was going to say, because after this, like, the intent was to be sit down around a table and figure and introduce each other better so you could rest during that time.
Wouldn't be enough to qualify as enough of a rest to grant any MP back, though. It would have to be like a travel rest, and a travel or full rest are basically the same length. It's just the circumstances of the rest. Like, it would have to be like an 8-hour sleep, essentially.
Oh.
A travel rest is just
Thing
when
is-
you don't have proper accommodation, so it's like just a rudimentary camp out in the woods. You'd only get half back from that. A full rest, you get everything back.
Well, in that case, it's more of the question of, do you think we're going to need to use that at any other point this session? Well, it's up to you. It's your call.
Indeed.
Because honestly, even if you're saying that again, even if you stop the bleeding, actually, if you stop the bleeding, we could always. Is there anything around we could use as a splint?
Well, I mean, you know,
That's true.
there's the broken wooden remains of all the furniture in here that those guys seemingly wrecked of his own accord.
We could always go back.
Oh,
get that
well
rope.
then.
Yeah. So if you
Well,
just stop his bleeding, we can put his leg on a splint.
Alright.
Alright then, we could try that.
I mean, like it's bent backwards, so I don't know how much good that's gonna do.
Or we can set it.
Fair enough.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, because he's not in enough pain.
Well, the thing is,
Obviously, someone
Yeah,
will have to
it'll
hold
hurt
it
like hell
while
to
the other
set it, but-
person
yeah,
clicks it back in place.
it'll hurt like hell to set it, but once it's set, it won't be as bad.
Yeah, with the pain
Yeah.
already in, he could go and
So then it's like when I dislocate my knee, it hurts like hell, and but once it's in, it's bliss. So
I mean, with all the stuff that we did to him, he's got a crossbow bolt in his shoulder. I pretty much cut his
he
arm.
attacked. He attacked first, but if we heal him, hopefully he'll see that he was an idiot.
I mean, the way
But
I see it,
that's also though why I'm covering him. So if he tries anything again, I'm just gonna finish him.
yes, because the way I see it, either we try to help him or put him out of his misery.
I
I want to
say-
try and help
Because
him first.
He is
'cause
gone
also,
far gone.
if he trusts us, he can tell us what the hell is going on and where we can go. Otherwise, we're just running blind into a city under quarantine. For all we know, about to run to the bloody Walking Dead.
Alright, so
I say,
Oh god.
I say we just do our best to make him comfortable, try to get some information about him, and we may just have to do a mercy killing.
Yeah.
Because with his condition and all the damage that we did,
All right,
So-
I'll keep him covered. I'll keep him covered. Alistair, you give us what medical attention you can. Rocket Thanatos, see if you can make a splint for that leg.
I do the best
I'll
I
keep the-
can.
Obviously,
But
don't
when
put
you
it on
ban-
yet because
Alcohol.
after we said it. But, yeah.
Hmm.
Alright.
But if we are putting a splint on him, we need someone to hold him down and someone to.
I know, but
Well,
I just want them to go
yeah.
and gather things for it first, and while you're healing, and then if we get to that point, we can set the leg, hold him down, and then set it. But yeah,
Got it.
Well, go ahead and make a medicine.
Keep a good
check.
eye on it.
Go ahead and make a medicine check to like try and like apply bandages to him or something.
I just move my
Alright.
character into the room because I'm covering him. You know.
I'm gonna move Alcier up next to the guy in question, and
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, I
also
just
I'm, gonna
moved
go,
it.
I'm also gonna go ahead and shrink everyone's avatars a little bit to be a bit more in accordance with the same
A
size.
little big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so they can do that. Rocket and I can go into the main room and get some wood.
So what would I have to roll?
Medicine check.
Okay, so 2d6s.
2d6 plus your
And-
medicine skill.
Got it.
You rolling then?
Yeah.
Sorry, just looking for my medicine check.
Is it okay to use awareness?
What are you looking for?
Looking for alcohol.
I mean, that would be
Oh.
it would be a scavenge check for that, but yes, you can roll for that. Why is it
Yeah.
check?
Well, Darkness is getting a skill. Have Hades and Lumia like roll for what they're doing,
Yeah, scavenging for wood and shit.
and alcohol apparently. I'm not gonna jump to that.
Oh. All right.
Where the bounce is my medicine check?
Should be in the. It should be in their skills.
It's healing,
Healing.
not
right.
medicine.
Yeah, healing. My mistake.
Because I did say there was healing.
Yeah, healing. Same thing as
Alright.
medicine in this context.
All right. So Hades got 9.
All right, so you two. Okay,
Finding wood.
so there isn't a. Okay, I'll get to that 12 in a second, Alicier. For one thing,
I
gotta,
did it!
Yeah, I gotta deal with Rocket and Thanatos' 7 and 9 first. So, Rocket, there isn't a lot of alcohol left. It looks like much of it has already been drinking. Like, there are a lot of empty bottles lying around, and there is actually quite a rancid stench in here of old booze. Chances are, when all this shit broke out, a lot of people just came here when the quarantine was put into effect to just wash away their worries in a stream of alcohol. And there isn't a whole lot in here. You find a bottle of what looks to be not very great scotch. You hope that'll do it.
Yeah, I hope that'll do it.
And Thanatos, you're just looking for wood?
Yeah.
I mean, all of the broken wood was back in the bedroom, so out here you'd have to break a chair, but there's a lot of wood. It's just all part of something. Like I said, all the broken wood was back in the bedroom.
I figured it
Honestly,
wouldn't.
just break a chair.
Honestly, with how unstable he was, I didn't think he'd need the sound of me smashing a chair or something.
Yeah.
Plus, give them a little room to work with him.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, you find a piece of, you find a chair leg that's kind of loose, and you manage to pry it off. No problem. Now, back to Alicier. You kind of get down next to the guy and check his wounds. He's bleeding pretty badly, but nothing you can't do with some bandages, which you have a few just kind of hanging out on your person, we'll say. You pull a few out, you reach out to start applying them. The guy hasn't acknowledged your presence since he broke down after his very handily defeated nature and his weeping fit. The second he feels your hands on him, he jerks away, wailing even louder. Sort of looking at you with wide, frantic eyes, tears streaming down his cheeks. Don't kill me! Don't kill me, please! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!
I wish not to kill you. I wish to help you.
Negotiation check. A 6. An 8. All right. He doesn't seem totally convinced, but he's letting you go along with it, seeming to be resigned to his fate, whatever it may be at this point. So with that in mind, you may continue with your healing check, and you start applying the bandages to his shoulder. After a minute or so, though...
And we'll move the arrow.
Yeah, you pull the arrow out. There's a bit of a spurt of blood before you manage to get that wound bound and closed up. As you're working, though, make an awareness check.
Okay.
Can I also do one since I'm in the room?
Sure.
Alright.
Hang on, damn. Forgot that the 4.
I mean, it would make that a 14, so you're fine there, Elsier.
Well, mine was
Oh,
10.
phew.
So 10 and 14. All right. All right. So, you both notice that the guy is starting to shake a little bit. His eyes are sort of rolling up into the back of his head, and his throat is starting to convulse, and he's sort of making gurgling noises.
I grab Alicia and pull him back.
All right. Not a...
Because I know what's about to happen here.
Yep.
Not getting any information.
Yep. Not a moment too soon. You yank him back, and the poor guy suddenly lurches forward onto his hands, heaves a few times, and then a disgusting mess of rancid puke just comes falling out and splattering onto the floor. Looks like there's a fair amount of blood in there, scratches a lot of blood. After the stream kind of comes to a halt after a second, he kind of lets out one last rasping scream of agony and despair, and then slumps to the floor dead.
I figured.
Well,
Shit, that happened.
I
well,
figured me and Rocket.
I want to go home now. I head out into the hallway. Basically, look at Thanatos says, we don't need the splint.
What happened?
The illness took him. He's gone.
Oh no.
Is that alcohol you have there, Rocket? Bring it to the table.
Okay.
All right, so you all kind of get situated around one of the tables that's still standing.
Yep.
And sit down. There's an old unlit candle on the table. Looks like there's a bit of wick left. One of you wants to spend a minute trying to light it, you can.
Point.
Thanatos, what's your black magic spell again?
Believe it's fire. Here, let me double check.
If it's fire, or hell, you also have your out of combat black magic spell you could use to light this if you want.
I'm probably better so you
Oh,
don't
yes.
fail and set this building on fire.
My will-o-wisp.
Yeah.
But damn it, where are my spells?
There should be the third page.
Yeah, it's a fire spell.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably just be better for me to use the will-o-wisp one.
Yeah. All right. I
don't know
I believe Conjure Wisps costs 1 MP. Do you have the non-combat magic sheet I sent you? I did send you that.
You did, but I don't have that open right now.
That's okay. I'll find Conjure Wisps real quick. It's enough, but okay, let's hear. Okay. It's 1 MP per wisp.
Okay.
And they can be of fire, water, air, or electrical magical energy.
Well, I'd say let's just do fire. So do I just roll a 2d6?
No, you don't need to roll anything for this.
Okay.
This is just there's no roll attached to this. You concentrate for a little minute as everyone's kind of getting situated. And how many wisps are you wanting to make? Just one?
Just one. Light the candle.
All right. From your hand, a small sphere of flickering fire emerges. Kind of hovers there in the air for a second. You direct it forward with 2 fingers pointing at the candle. The wisp drifts forward, passes over the wick, and the candle is lit, providing some much-needed illumination to the gloomy interior, providing a bit more of a detailed look at the cobwebs that have taken up residence in this building, and some of the other signs of wear and tear and relatively recent chaos. Like scratch marks and stains on the walls and shit. It's very not great.
Well, that's a bit better.
And you still have the
So-
wisp floating around, by the way, so where do you want to put it?
Should I just disable it or whatever?
I mean, if you want, but I mean, it costs you MP. I might as well keep it for a minute.
Yeah, I'll just have it float over my shoulder.
All right. That is your wisp.
Alright. I lean on the table, clasp my hands together, look at them. So, our ship was shot by the fleet guarding this place. There's a plague here, has been claiming victims. The place is abandoned, we do not know what awaits us forwards. I think at this point, it'll be good to come up with some kind of plan of action and get to know the people that I'm going to be potentially fighting alongside in this damn city.
Yes, and forgive me all for not introducing myself. Let's just say I was a little bit knocked out of it back at the beach.
Pretty sure you all did introduce yourselves.
Well, we said our name, but not really much about us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's what we're doing here.
I don't remember them mentioning my name yet. I don't think.
You did.
You did.
You did.
Alright. So, who wants to start first? I will, if no one else wants to.
Be my guess.
Go ahead.
Well, as I've already introduced myself, I am Nia Thill, member of the Rangers in the old Vatea.
Specifically, the city of Vitae, the capital of Old Vatea. Remember, Old
Yes.
Vatea is the nation.
Yes.
Your home city is the capital.
Specifically from Vatea, the capital city. As I said, I'm a member of the Rangers. I've been part of the military for many years now. Well, I came to this place as a conduit to find mages further in. I have my own personal reasons for doing so.
Change the background
I had
color
to
to
get-
be more of a wood color to fit the environment a bit better. Carry on.
Alright. I have my own personal reasons for doing so, that I will not share. But suffice to say, I took a great deal of leave from the military to get here, and it took a great deal of persuading, backed up by my two sisters who are also rangers. I need to get out of this city as soon as possible. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to need every single one of you. That's all I have to say on that.
Well, I may go last, but I'm definitely interested with you, Rocket. I mean, how did you came to be? Who was the one who applied you these interesting upgrades?
My father.
Oh, who was your father?
Dr. Lazarus.
Ah, you're a science experiment.
Yes. I'm a cyborg.
I
I've
figured
been
something
on the
like
route.
that might be the case. I do not recall ever seeing a speaking chocobo in Ovatea.
If you don't mind me asking, do you remember what purpose you were built for? Like, why did he make you like this?
Fighting. Military. They wanted steeds that could fight as well as their soldiers.
Hmm, I see.
And then they changed their minds.
Oh,
Let me guess, they tried to kill you.
Yes, and father didn't make it.
I'm sorry for your loss.
So, Thanatos, what brought you to this shore?
I'm looking for someone.
On that we can relate.
My master.
Your master.
He took me in, taught me everything I know. Then, just a few years ago, he disappeared. left me nothing but his cloak. Not even a note why.
Oh.
Wow, that is pretty deep.
And you, Alistair?
Well, as for me, well, let's just say I'm trying to help as many people as I can, especially with terrible diseases and plagues. Luckily, I have learned much in my, well, in my time. I mean, for one thing, the thing that helped me the most, my mother was an alchemist. As for me, father, a librarian. So you could say, with a bit of knowledge and a little bit of algorithms, I could make successful or healing of such. But let's just say I normally do some forms of testing of new cures, but let's just say not all of them worked out, unfortunately. But I'm determined not to give up, no matter what.
So, we have a roaming healer, a fleeing science experiment, and 2 people in search of things. And yet we are here, Marasu, trapped in a city that seems to be damned by plague. And I have a feeling, judging by our entrance into this city, those blockading it will be no friendlier. Clearly, we need a way out of here if we all to continue our journeys.
Indeed. And I just hope that the city of Garlet doesn't get this bad while I'm gone.
My idea.
If everyone could roll an awareness check really quick.
So yes. Dash
Okay.
roll 2d6 plus 4.
11.
10.
Oh, sorry, 10, 11, yeah.
Okay, Rocket rolled an 11. Alcier, what about you?
13. Apparently all of us are quite aware.
I seem to get the highest one so far.
Yep. Give me just a second. I'm trying to see if there's like a secret roll button.
Apparently is, but forgive
there it
me,
is.
I didn't
GMR.
know.
No, wait, I did that wrong. There we go. All right. Well, as you're all kind of sitting around having this conversation, Alcier, you notice a shadow passing by the window directly against the wall from your table. I'll go ahead and draw it in really quick in a palish yellow color. Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah. You see a shadow pass in front of that window, heading towards the door.
Okay.
Do we all see that?
No. Alcier's the only who rolled high enough.
No. Well, while he's saying that, I'll finish the sentence I started as he was noticing.
So it's a bit.
As that you were saying that, I was in the middle of saying, so my idea would be to get to the other coast of the city, find passage off, or some way to contact my sisters. They can come and help.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but I think we are not alone.
As if on cue, the door to the establishment slowly swings open. And
I get up, hand ready on my crossbow just in case.
yep, and in walks, you see an old-looking Numu. And you know what the Numu are, right?
No.
Okay. The Numu are a race of... I like to describe them as marsupials. I don't know if that's actually correct in the generalized lore of Final Fantasy, but that's what I call them here. They're kind of hunched over. They have very rounded muzzles, long droopy ears. They are covered in a thin layer of fur that's
Oh,
typically
them.
like either whites or pale browns. This one is kind of a middle gray color and is wearing some flowing white robes with red accents. And in one of his hands, there is a very interesting and ornate white staff. His sort of deep brown eyes kind of look at you all one at a time, kind of analyzing. And then his face slowly lights up with this bright and friendly little smile, and he says, "Ah, I see you are not infected."
Who are you?
He gives a polite bow. "My name is Tom Uman. I am the court white mage to Lord Laren Kane, the Isle Master of this island and city. The fact that you do not know who I am tells me that you are outsiders. I assume survivors of that ship that tried to enter port."
The ship we are wondering why it was shot without warning, sending us all to the shore.
It attempted to approach the island, knowing full well from the flags that it was under quarantine. To prevent the infection spreading to anyone else outside of the islands, the ship had to be destroyed as they ignored all other warnings. That's as far as I'm aware, at least. I cannot claim to read the minds of those who managed the blockade. Are you all unharmed?
So let me. I wouldn't say completely unarmed, but I will say this.
He said unharmed, not
you...
unarmed.
Oh, sorry, unharmed. Yeah, no. Damn it.
How's this?
Well,
For that?
Just let.
Go speak up.
okay. Well, besides being shot at, we're not all pleasant, you could say. And why did you people think it was the best option just to shoot the ship instead of, I don't know, giving us any other forms of warning?
You should be aware that as far as we are, we're the only survivors.
As things stand, the flag is a nearly universal symbol that all seafaring captains should know, indicating dangerous infections and to stay away, and that lethal force will be used if the warning is ignored. I don't make the rules, I'm afraid, and I cannot speak for the captains of those vessels. They do not hail from Arasu, they hail from the capital city a few more islands down the chain.
I'm afraid I knew nothing of the captain either. I just got on the ship out of Old Vitea, where I'm taking leave from the rangers there.
So long story short, you rather be known as murderers by killing loads of innocent, well, maybe all innocent people, than instead of, I don't know, finding another way to warn us. Fair
I
enough.
put a hand on Alistair's shoulder as an indicator to quieten down for a while before he gets us into more trouble.
The white mage sort of narrows his eyes. I say again, I cannot speak for the captains of the blockade. My work is here in this city and this city alone. I do not approve.
Be that as it may, what happens now?
Well, what happens now is until the quarantine is lifted, you're trapped here just like me and everyone else.
Fantastic.
And so what are we meant to do?
He sort of sizes you up, looks you all up, each and down with a scrutinizing gesture. Again, his face blossoms with a smile. Judging by your garb, his eyes briefly lock onto Rocket, and your unusual group composition, I can assume that you are more than capable of handling yourselves in a fight. If that is the case, then you might be able to speed things along.
How so?
There is more than just a plague afflicting this city. The plague is the root of it, but there are other issues that require a more blunt touch to resolve, I am afraid, much as it appalls me to say it. He gives his head a slow shake.
What do you have in mind for us?
I should bring you back to the uninfected regions of the city, so long as you are uninfected yourselves. He waves a hand in the air, and it shimmers with a pleasant green light, sort of. And around each of you, a bubble appears for a moment that then shrinks down and constricts to your form. It's not holding you in places, but it sort of passes on to you, and there are a few little flickers on the bubbles before the bubbles fade. Carrying some bacteria from the ocean, but nothing from the plague. Good. You are safe then. If you would follow me, I would lead you back to the palace and the uninfected regions of the city. From there, my Lord Laren Kane can issue further instructions and explanations.
Can we have a moment to talk in privacy? This is a lot to take in.
Of course. He slowly steps back out and closes the door.
Can we make sure he's actually not listening in?
Well, I mean, if you had the magic to ensure he wasn't using, like, a listening spell, maybe, but you don't have that, so... if there's any means you want to take, you can, but, you know...
Whisper.
Yeah.
So, what are we
Do
thinking?
you think... Well, I'm not sure we should trust him yet, but it looks like we haven't got much of a choice.
I don't
Although I am a
typically
bit
trust
more-
someone who fires cannons at us.
It
Should
was
we
Same.
follow the rabbit?
it was a tough decision on their part. This plague, as you can see, is terrible.
What
Thank
did
you.
Rocket
Although-
just say? I missed that.
I called him a rabbit.
Ah.
More like a golden retriever with gray fur. but
Nice.
sure. Kind of rabbit-like, I
was-
guess. I never made that comparison.
As I was saying, it was a tough decision on their part. They need to keep this plague quarantined. It may have not have been nice, but clearly our captain ignored the warnings.
Something doesn't feel right about that. Why would he ignore a clearly universal sign?
Unless something was already here that he needed.
Perhaps.
We won't know why waiting here. I'm no mercenary, but we should go along with this for a while, at least see what he wants. Until we either
Although
find a
those-
way out of this city or a way to contact the outside world. As I said, my sisters could provide assistance, though I'm not sure how to get in contact with them at this moment.
It strikes me that they're not going to allow
Well,
us.
I think we
out-
should be cautious.
See, it strikes me as they don't want any contact with the outside world, so I doubt we can rely on help.
Well, we'll keep an eye out nevertheless. Rangers don't leave anyone behind. But still, we should at least see what he wants. And if there's any way to end this
Indeed.
quicker.
All right.
Any
Fair
objections?
enough.
All right, so are you
No.
heading back out?
Yep. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and change the map really quick to this because I forgot there's Fog of War.
World map?
Yeah.
Not world map, city map.
Well, you know what I meant.
All right, so you kind of step
The
back.
overworld.
You kind of step back out, and you look around, and you see Tom is not far away looking down at the beach you all had washed up on, looking at the bodies that are all on the beach with one hand on his chin and his other hand absently tapping his staff on the ground. Tap, 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 tap.
Like, we are ready when you are.
He looks back over at you, offers us a small nod. Very good. Before we depart, though, there is one thing I wish to address. He looks back down at the beach and points with his staff. That body there, do you see it?
Awareness check.
He's pointing it out, so if you want to look,
Ah.
you just see it.
What is it?
You see a Mithrin corpse. Kind of, typical Mithrin appearance. But he's dressed in the uniform of the captain of your ship, which immediately strikes you as odd, because you remember your captain being a Rogadin. Or a Galka, excuse me. One of the big burly people.
I narrow my eyes, but for the moment I just go, what about him?
I recognize him.
The uniform would indicate he was the captain, but I don't recall him being that species.
That would be because this man was not your captain. Tom shakes his head. They'll stoop to so many lows, it seems. It's nothing too heinous for them.
Who?
This plague has a strange effect on the strong-willed. People with hard pasts and dangerous lives. Adventurers, mainly. Mages, too. People like that, if they are infected, and are lucky, survive, but at the cost of their mind. It's as if something enslaves them, turns them into a conduit for spreading the disease instead of succumbing to it themselves. As a result, there is an entire sect in this city of people who seem to think that this plague is some sort of divine gift, and are stopping at nothing to spread it to everyone they can.
You say this happens to people who have hard pasts and dangerous lives?
People with strong minds and wills, heavy resolve. Yes. It seems.
Sorry
I mean,
for
not to get
butting in.
infected.
Go on.
But do they know the cause of this? Like, when did it start at this plague?
The plague began several weeks ago, during the height of an increase in fishing requirements. Winter is coming, after all. And
For fuck's sake.
And the predictions of the time mages make it pretty clear that we're going to be due for a frozen port. Our import and export will be sealed, by and large. To make sure we could sustain ourselves, we had to increase fishing rates. However, I have no clue for sure if that is connected or not. All I know is that is about the same time the infection began. It started here in the docks, and it spread quickly. By the time we were able to issue quarantines and block off areas of the city, an entire residential district and the entirety of the docks had been claimed.
The residential district and the docks. What about beyond that? Further in the city?
There is still a large chunk of the city that is otherwise safe, but food supplies are starting to run low as most of the supplies are kept here in the docks.
Well then, I suppose you have to see what we can do to help.
Indeed. Now, are you ready to follow me?
We don't have much of our other choice, and we have to continue my journey until this place is dealt with.
Very well then.
Okay, Mr. Rabbit.
I suppose I can lend my skills to help you out. But please don't try to kill us again.
I didn't.
Ignore him, he's very irritated by what happened.
As you should be. But again, I had no say in the actions of those vessels out there. If I had my way, they wouldn't have done that at all. And I wasn't the one who ordered the quarantine. Blame that man, not me. Now then,
Well,
let us be on our way. He turns and points down the street a little ways, towards this spot over here. Let us go.
Alistair, Thanatos, Rocket, form in. Let's go.
Okay.
Got it.